y'all.
Hey.
I'm Shakur.
And I'm Ebony.
And welcome to the Unapologetically Us podcast, where we talk about life, mental health, fitness, finances, and everything in between. We're back. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. We're so excited to continue with this journey that we're going down, right?
Yep.
So thank y'all for tuning in. Those who are new here, go check out the other videos. They're pretty good. You know, we do a pretty good job.
Hopefully with our week off, unintentionally, hopefully they, some people are caught up now, so they don't have to go back and watch.
So we have time off.
Not planned.
It's y'all gonna go catch up, or should have already.
Yeah, you should have been caught up already.
Just do what's supposed to be done.
Anyway, child, listen, what's been up with you?
Child, listen, I've been pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
I've been pretty good. I've been able to kind of start things that I kind of brainstorm in my head.
Mm-hmm.
Being able to kind of compartmentalize the things that I've been wanting to do and kind of put those things into play.
Mm-hmm.
So, child, listen, I'm excited about 2023 and just doing the things that was brainstormed in my head, and I'm able to with not with any stress attached to it, just unapologetically intentional and getting it done.
Oh, no, that's right.
So, child, listen.
Okay, getting things done.
Getting things done. What about you?
Child, listen, I'm officially 32.
Cheers to that.
So January 9th, I'm officially 32 years old. I went on ahead and had my little birthday party that I canceled 15 times in my head. And 15 times, like, girl, I think I'm about to just not do this. And, but couldn't, because people had already bought their pajamas and planned to come. So I was like, well, dang, I have to have it. But I had a good time. It was a great time.
Good.
And then ended up celebrating there was the weekend before, actually on my actual birthday. Chilled for the most part, laid in bed, lounged around, and then ended up going out that evening to like a little bar to watch the college football championship game, and having some good 2 for $10 margaritas. And then went back home and chilled out and been on vacation all week. Yeah. My vacation's coming to an end. I'm sad about that. I have enjoyed the escape. Didn't really go anywhere, but just like, like if anything was bothering me, I could just tune everything out. Took 2 days off of social media. That was good.
Awesome.
Thinking about doing that again, but I don't know how it's gonna work with the podcast and other ventures that I have to do. So I may have to scale back a little bit on what that looks like. But yeah, other than that, I'm very grateful to see 32.
Absolutely.
And I'm aware that people are getting up out of here left and right, and some people didn't make it to see 32. Yeah. Some people didn't make it to see 30. So I'm glad to still be here. It's one of the first things that I said when I woke up Monday on my birthday was, God, thank you for another year.
Absolutely.
Well, I was up at 12 when it hit, so I said thank you. And I woke up again. When I woke up for the day, I said thank you for another year. So, yeah, child, listen, I'm 32. I've seen more gray hairs on, in my head. Rinse is about to become my friend. Let me put a dye in here again, but this wig is doing its job. It's for sure, because y'all can't tell with the wig. But other than that, yeah.
Well, good.
So.
That is absolutely wonderful.
Well, let's get into today's episode. Today's episode shouldn't be too long. I was thinking, when we were thinking about topics, I was like, we haven't done a finance topic. And I realized what time it is. It is tax time. It is the dreaded tax time for some and the happiest tax time for others. one thing about tax time, especially with this tax season, is a little different. I saw way more people hopping into the tax profession, and
Yes.
it is it can be a lucrative profession, but it's also a headache of a profession too, because you deal with a lot of different people, and different people. It's like the nicest way I can say it, but different people breed different attitudes, different outcomes, and things of that nature. And so, the memes I saw were very funny, as far as like people saying like, "Oh, I don't care how hard you fold those arms, you're not doing my taxes," type of thing. I don't know why that is the tax pose.
That's the thing.
But getting into the tax profession, one thing that that's something that you are interested in, I do encourage you to be accurate, because one thing you don't want to play with, whether it's you or your business, is with the IRS. And so with that being said, I kind of was thinking about like what were like, it's a dreaded time for some people because some people have to pay.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, for some people, whether you don't have any independence, you make too much money, or whatever, you may be one of those ones that have to pay a little bit back. I was telling Shakora earlier that, climbing the ladder has its pros and cons.
Right.
The more money you make, the more taxes come out your check, the more tax obligation that you do have.
Yes.
And so, with that being said, either you gonna get it on the front end, you gonna get it on the back end. Either way it go, whatever you owe the government, you gonna have to give it to them. But that's one thing that tax professionals are here for. No tax plan is catered to just one, everybody, because everybody's situations are different. Right. You have multiple kids, you have less kids, you have this amount of money, you have that amount of money. You have itemizable deductions, you don't really have itemizable deductions. I am crossing, that point of, eventually, if I keep going, that little negative gonna end up in the positive. It's gonna end up in the positive. And I was telling Shakora too, I said, I'm realizing that because I don't have certain itemizable deductions, it's like interest on my house, because I don't own a house, so I can't file those on my taxes. I mean, one of those people that said Biden gonna defer these loans, but defer mine.
Please
defer mine. So I don't have any student interest loans to put on there. Nothing that's gonna make my standard deduction be more than what my standard deduction of taxes would be. So but I know you had a question that something you wanted to ask.
Yeah. Well, just before that, and I'm sitting thinking about tax season, since you brought that particular thing up, walking into and even thinking about me, where taxes will look different for me this year, as my first year as a particular business owner, where my business has to be filed, right? Yeah. So, if we talk about moving into a different tax bracket, I'm like, what does that look like for me? And a lot of people don't just think about that part. We want to be able to make more money. We want to be able to, live on the finer side of life. And we want to start businesses and things like that. But we also want to be able to educate ourselves in what type of things we need to consider when it comes down to tax time. You know, whether you have a LLC or a C Corp or S Corp or whatever it's called, being financially secure, or where you can kind of ask those questions on what it is. Because I know I have been, you know, throughout the whole year figuring out what are some things that you can do with the as far as business expenses and things like that. So it's always important to, of course, embark in new event of business goals and things like that, but also educating yourself on what you have to do and what that looks like, and also just getting with someone who is going to know what they're talking about, not you know, those people. She called them those people.
So with businesses, that's why when you setting up a business, it's important to really research what you're doing and the type of structure you want to set your business up as, whether it's an LLC, an S Corp, or a C Corp. Because those, your designation as a business matters as far as what credits are available to you as well. One thing with businesses, if you know somebody called me and asked me about anything, I always tell them what you want to do. If you can afford to pay somebody to do it. But if you're just starting off, at least let somebody look at your stuff quarterly, or at least let somebody look at your stuff annually. But if you're not going to pay somebody on a month-to-month basis, it is best that you look at your expenses, whether it's on a monthly basis. You know, if you're starting off and you're not bringing in much and you're not spending out much, you probably can do it once a quarter. But if you start and your expenses is going, I would look at it once a month. Keeping track of your expenses do matter, because as a business owner, you are allowed certain deductions. You are, and then you're taxed before. You're taxed. You're taxed after expenses, which is what's considered your net income. So whereas as me, an employee, or you know, you're an employee too, we're taxed before. We're taxed at our gross. And then what we net is what we net. And then what'll happen is, come tax time, they'll take what we made, look at what we paid into, and then whatever the difference is, with our deductions, is where they're going to determine whether you pay or you owe. So as a business, you make your money, you deduct your deductible expenses, and then you're taxed at what you net. So that's why most accountants, CPAs, those in the accounting profession stress the importance of proper bookkeeping, proper record keeping of what you bring in and what you take out. Stressing the importance of using your expenses, like you can get 50% of your meals. So if you think about it, if you're going on a business meal, then and you spend $20, 10 of that is tax deductible. The mileage, you have a mileage allowance of the driving that you do, whether it's, but it has to be work related. You can't just be like, I went to my pot and let me dock these miles. No. If you travel, we have people, and it's non-reimbursed, which that's a personal expense too that you can look into. But from your house to the office, and the office back to your house. If you ran if you had to travel to go see a client that didn't come to your office, but you had to go meet them somewhere. The miles incurred with that. Software. With your counseling service, a lot of people use, for me, and the clients that I see, we use QuickBooks. So QuickBooks is a expense that they will record, and it'll be something that we can put on their Schedule C. So it's important to make sure that you are really doing proper record keeping, and because that's one thing that people don't do. When you do go to sit down and see a tax professional, you may pay a little more than what they normally would charge, because now they have to take the time to line up all your books in order and do your profit and loss in your balance sheet so they can actually file your taxes.
Yeah.
So if they normally was charging you $350 to do them, you probably gonna pay about $500-$600 because that's time consuming.
Yeah.
So that's another thing. Either you're gonna do it on the front end or you're gonna pay for it on the back end.
Yeah.
So that's important with the business aspect. And those who are looking into starting a business, I would encourage you to, for one, research the field that you're going into, and then look more into just how you want to structure your business, how you want to distinguish your business.
Yeah.
Because like I said, LLC and S Corps have different tax benefits.
Mm-hmm.
So that's important to look at.
Yeah. Okay. Well then, as it relates to taxes and filing taxes, and my question stimulates from, when I was in school, when I was in college, just kind of working here and there, but having to file taxes, right? And just watching different people, watching the commercials, those places like Fast Tax and TurboTax and things like that. You come to us $500 or up to $1,500 on spot and things like that. So, but as I've gotten older, I've actually gotten a tax person. Like, this is a person that will handle everything. I send this over, and then he's like, this how much you owe, or did you do this? Is there any more documentation pertaining to the business? Is there any more documentation pertaining to your driving and things like that? And I'm like, what? Because there was even a point where when I was in school, I would just do TurboTax. Whatever the question is they ask me, yes, no, owe this amount, that amount, and things like that. So is it more beneficial to go to places like Fast Tax, TurboTax, things like H&R Block, or is it more beneficial to seek a actual accounting or a tax preparer or whatever?
So with that, it really depends on the person and the situation. With college, of course, I used TurboTax in college. Because the fees was little to nothing. It was a standard return, so I wasn't worried about itemizing and what couldn't do, what I could do. I looked at my W-2. I said, this is about how much I'm supposed to get back, and I just went with that. But when you go into like a Fast Tax or H&R Block, most of the time you may go because you don't trust yourself to do them. You rather have a what you would call a professional to do it. And then if you have a more complex return that you may feel like, okay, TurboTax asking me all these questions, but I don't get it. And they do have virtual assistants that you can ask questions to. But if you like, you know what, forget it, I don't, let me go sit in front of somebody or whatever. I think it's more beneficial for those who have more complex returns, who have business returns, and you're not as accustomed to doing it, because TurboTax it's free. Then they suck you in, you pay the deluxe because you're gonna do all the audit protection, all of that.
The $19.99.
Yeah. And so but going into an actual person, and then once you file with an actual person, you can say, well, I know I can't change last year's numbers, but what can I do for this year's numbers? And then that person who has looked at your numbers can say, okay, well, going forward, let's try to do this. Or you may need to do a hobby that you can kind of fluff some, not fluff, I hate to use the word fluff, but because fluff sounds like I'm just making up some numbers.
Fluff sounds like
scheming. I am, because hey, I will start tracking this, I'll start tracking that, or I'll look more to my mileage, I'll look more to supplies. I'll if you are working from home office, well, not working from home, but if you have a business but you also work from home, then home office is a deduction. So it's like that person can help you tailor more into what would work for you as far as your tax plan going forward. Now, one thing about this, you can plan all you want to, but the IRS can make changes whenever, they can make changes every year, which they do. Because at one point, you were able to deduct all of your meals, and they changed it to 50%.
Yeah, because that's the first time I heard that.
Right.
I didn't know that.
You are allowed to do certain entertainment costs. They don't even do those anymore. So the plan will work, but you have to also be aware of the changes that are taking place with the IRS each tax year.
Yeah.
Now, because this is unapologetically us, so we ain't gonna beat around it. Fast, some of these tax people, because that was a question that was asked too, going to them versus doing it on my own or going to whoever. Whether you doing it yourself or you go talk to somebody, the example I gave you, don't go in completely blind.
Yeah.
Have some type of knowledge, because if something don't sound right to you, then you be like, okay, I don't think I want to, fool with that. And I use the example of buying a car. Your first time buying a car, people get gypped because they don't just sit back and think about interest rates, down payments, and all those things, and the credit aspect of it, and my expenses, and that's gonna determine how much my note gonna be. You don't look at all of that. You just go in there and you say, I want this. This is how much I want to pay, and let them do what they want to do. How some people, they will hit your credit for 6 different people.
Yeah.
Whereas, some people say, well, if you buy a used car, go through a credit union, because they'll give you an amount, and that's that. So whoever you're going to go see, go with some type of knowledge of what you want. Now, most people should review your return with you before you sign.
Right.
And so if you get a return and you're like, yeah, I don't think I don't know. You don't have to sign it. They don't have to file it. But once you sign it and it's filed, and if you know that they fluffed some stuff to get you what you wanted, because you wanted $5,000, they gave you $6,000, and you signed it, that's on you.
Because essentially it's gone. If something happened, it falls on you, not on him.
And one thing too that people fail to realize, because I was thinking about this with the PPP stuff. Them people gonna sit back and watch. They just waiting, because what it's doing, if I hit you right now, interest not gonna be that bad. But if I wait a little bit, I can take on penalties, I can take on interest. So if you originally owed me $3,000, by the time taxes, penalties, interest, it done been X amount of times, you could owe double that.
Yeah.
And then there's why things like optimal tax relief exist, because people that got audited and things didn't go the way they hoped that it would go. So although I would love a $5,000-$6,000 tax return, I also know that I'm not at that point of a $5,000-$6,000 tax return. So if I took my documents to somebody and they told me, oh girl, I got you back $7,000, no ma'am, I don't want it. I don't want it. I don't have the expenses to give me that. So again, it's your preference. You can go to a tax professional, you can go to TurboTax, you can go to, there are plenty of other tax softwares that you can do yourself that's self-prepared, or if you want to go and sit in front of somebody, you can.
Yeah, because I'm thinking about basically what you said is educate yourself on whoever you decide, whether it's TurboTax where you do it yourself, whether it's Fast Tax where you go in. I just from experience had where people were using Fast Tax and they want to go get the upfront money, and those are things that kind of bring people in, and it's beneficial. I guess
it's
for
right
them,
after Christmas.
yeah, because you need it. Yeah.
So if you finna give me a cash advance on my refund, if I qualify for a cash advance on my refund, then why not get it?
Right, exactly. But and cool, do that, but educate yourself on it, and that's basically what a lot of people should do, because I mean, I guess at that point I never had I used fast tax before when I was in college. Yes, I did. But I never wanted you qualify for the upfront money, and I'm like, no thank you. Like, I'll wait. You know, even right now to this day, like, I still wait until like the very last chance I have to file my taxes, because like all this cash advance and stuff like that, like somebody doing something somewhere.
You can do it. The thing about the cash advance is it's pretty much, it's not given to everybody. It's basically saying if once I run your numbers and you are you can get some money back, then it's like, hey, we can offer you $1,000 up front.
Right, yeah.
And then, you get your $1,000, and if you just say it was $3. So you get your $1,000, there's $2 left. I'm gonna take my fee out, and then you
get the rest.
And then you get the rest.
Yeah.
So depending on what most people, $350. So what that is, $650. It's $1,650. Yeah,
I mean, and I wish that when I was in school, it was different things where you're educated. Because if you come from a generation or a family where you didn't get to, I'm running it fast, I can get my $1,500, and not knowing, I think essentially I did fast tax and then ended going to turbo, and then when I made it to H&R Block, I was hurt. Like, oh, you go to H&R Block, H&R Block gave you a card, your money came to the card, and it was like legit. But just now learning, like, not saying anything was wrong. I had a good job or had a great experience with H&R Block, but just knowing like I still don't feel like the time that the person who prepares my taxes now takes that H&R Block did that. I'm thinking back, I'm like, I don't know how much money I missed on not itemizing my stuff, But educating yourself sounds like it's of importance in this tax season.
Yeah, and you can always do what they call tax consultations. A lot of people, accountants, CPAs, that specialize in it, because every accountant is not digging into taxes. Yeah. Even like people that I know, is like, once I got my set of people that was consistent, I was good. I don't have to. Ain't no flyers, and then because the people who I know coming, they come.
No folded arms.
No folded arms. The people who I know coming gonna come. Yeah. So but yeah, consultations are important. You probably have to pay for those, but you can get a tax consultation as well. Yeah. But at the end of the day, one thing that I will stress to people, it is relative to you. With the education part, I mean, you have some that will take the time to kind of, get some type of foundation or some type of, because the wording, it could be different. Like, I don't know what the hell this means. Right. But you got some people that say, I don't give a damn what you do. This is what I want.
Give me my 5, please.
Give me my 6, 10. My cousin came and you got her 10, so give me 10.
Yep, absolutely.
And just let it be that. So again, like, it's tailored to the person.
Yeah. That is so interesting.
And you got people who don't care.
Got people who don't care.
I'm gonna ride this way till I can't ride with the PPP. I'm gonna ride this PPP way till I can't ride it no more. So.
Wow, that's something. And you say that, and it's funny because there are a lot of people who, so and so got me 12, so and so got me 15. You better go. And I'm like, I'm straight. I'm not there,
Cause you would know. You'd be like,
yeah.
I know I ain't getting. Like I said, somebody called me and said, "Girl, I got $6,000 for you." I know good and damn well.
I'm gonna be like, "No, you ain't got that for me.
You ain't got that.
It ain't for money." Not I.
Because like I said, I don't even keep up with enough. Now maybe you sat down with me and you told me, okay, look, girl. But I know for me, I'm like, I ain't. Mm-hmm. But if you sit down and say, look, girl, if you do this, mm-hmm. and keep track of this, and this can get you that, then cool. But if not,
again, education.
Right.
You know that you keeping every gas receipt, every meal receipt, you know, whatever it is that you need to keep to say that this gonna be itemized and this gonna mm-hmm. be a write-off or whatever the case may be, then that is important. Do that. Keep your documentation, sis. But if you're not,
but then if you're not good with it, like I know for me, I'm good for, you know, throwing away some receipts.
I mean, I got 100 receipts in my purse, in my wallet, anyway, in my door.
I'm good for, you know, I'm doing better with it now because of my situation, but back then, a receipt for what? I threw it away.
I mean, I was keeping them, but I wasn't keeping them for that reason. I was keeping them. I'm borderline a hoarder, but that's neither here nor there.
Lord, help of Jesus.
So, what are some of those, I guess, frequent asked questions? We talked about you having some frequent asked questions that people like kind of just want to know.
Scouring the internet when around tax season, you have those that are like, dang, another year without dependent. Man, I feel bad. You know, I envy of y'all that they have them. The one thing that's very frustrating and has been frustrating a lot of tax professionals, accountants, the like, is people are wanting the Donald Trump effect, mm-hmm. or they're wanting the Amazon effect. One thing about, because, so-and-so making all this money and not paying tax, but you have a lot of people that's making a lot of money and paying a lot of their crap back in taxes as well. Mm-hmm. The thing about it is that's a whole scale of business running mm-hmm. that's above a lot of people that's making that post. Yeah. No offense, but I mean, let's just be real about it.
Right. Yeah.
Because, you know, filing losses is beneficial because it knocks some stuff down for you and stuff like that. But you gotta be careful with how often you file a loss versus a net, because after a while the IRS gonna look at you crazy. Like, well, if you're in business and not making no money and you're a for-profit business, then where's your profit? Mm-hmm. So, you know, or moving money here, it
ain't worth it, sis.
It's very advanced. It's very advanced. Yeah. I will say that. And one thing that Jeff Bezos does, or do he sell on Amazon? I don't know. But one thing that Amazon was doing, they do hire IRS professionals to dig and find every loophole that Amazon could possibly get to where he didn't have to pay nothing back in taxes. But again, that's something that's above a lot of people that's asking that. Yeah, because for you to put me on your payroll to where I'm, you know, working for the IRS or used to work for the IRS, and I can look for every loophole, then you're paying me for my research and my expertise.
Right, absolutely.
So those of you that are asking about that, you know, make sure that, and no shade, but it's like, it's above some of y'all that's asking for that.
So you said the Donald Trump method, is that what you call it?
The Donald Trump treatment. Because he's supposed to be a millionaire, billionaire, and ain't paid no taxes.
Right. Okay.
So, you know, I'm looking at me making, I'm gonna say $100,000 a year. I ain't there yet, but $100,000 a year, and I have to pay, you know, and I'm paying, and this man is making way more money than me. So we say, well, then why he ain't paying that?
Absolutely. Okay.
So people are like, well, if he making all this money and not paying no money back, then why the hell am I paying money
right back? Absolutely.
But if you paid attention, they were also in court.
Yeah.
So, and that's why I say you can play, but the IRS is one set of people I'm not trying to play with.
Absolutely.
Because, like I said, they will sit back and just wait. Mm-hmm. And wait for the interesting penalties to kick in. Cause one thing that people are gonna make money off of with, you know, money lending, all of that, they make their money off the interest. They don't make money off giving you the money. Cause if I give you $5, you give it back, I ain't make no money.
Right.
But if I give you $5 and I'm charging interest on it, I make the money off the interest that I gave you.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna sit back and wait.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So, you know, I mean, hey, and I am not one of those people. For like I said, for me, I don't play. If I missed out on some money, like I said, for 10 years, oh well.
Yeah.
My stuff was straight. my stuff was good. So,
yeah. Okay. So, as an accountant, you guys, she's definitely an accountant, right?
I am.
And what would, from the accounting's perspective, what is advice, suggestions that you would give to those, let me say, age range of maybe 18 to 21, 22, newly going into having to file their own taxes and things like that? Because some people stay on their parents' taxes, right? But you know, that's one step into knowing that you're an adult. You get to file your own taxes and things. So what is some, from the accounting perspective, not from somebody normal like me as far as finances, but what advice, suggestions would you give to them, in other than, of course, educating themselves, but some advice or suggestions?
Well, unless the times have changed, most college students are broke. So the thing about it is, if Turbo, like I use TurboTax.
Yeah,
I swear by TurboTax.
Yeah.
So if going to TurboTax is cheaper than me going to see a professional, because some professionals do offer student discounts.
Absolutely.
You know, I will go to a trusted professional that offer me a student discount, you know, whatever, or I would just use somebody like TurboTax, because I think maybe at the most $50 came out my refund.
Right. Yeah.
So, you know, and most of the time you don't have no money, so you don't have no really extensive income that is hindering you from getting a refund anyway. So I would, hey, nothing wrong with TurboTax, nothing wrong with any, there are other softwares out there that's cheaper than TurboTax that you can use. And like I said, if you do want to go to a professional, just be prepared that a professional may charge you professional fees. Like I said, some professionals may offer college discounts for college students, and a referral, you know, discount if you bring some people with you. So I would keep that in mind. But even same with college students, you think about what you want to do and what looks, and then when if you do talk to a professional, express that to them. Hey, I'm thinking about, you know, doing this side hustle. How does this affect my taxes? I'm thinking about, I pay more towards my student loans. What does that mean? Or I got this other job, it's gonna pay me a little bit more. Is it gonna affect anything? The most important file that anybody will fill out is your W-4, and that's the file that you file with your employer to determine how much taxes come out your check. So, hey, I kind of want to, you know, I need to take home a little more, but I don't want to pay. So what do I need to do with my W-4? And go from there with that. But college kids, most of the time, y'all getting something back anyway. So, like I say, you go with what is best for you. If TurboTax is, you like, hey, sis, TurboTax, I'm going with them because $50, I take that. Even with so-and-so discount, it was $125. I'm gonna stick with the 50. Then, because you don't really have a complicated return anyway. Most of the time, you don't have a complicated return. So, unless you just somebody who like, you got some college kids who have, I DJ on the side, I do this on the side, I do hair on the side, or I got this business going on, or I made this amount of money, or I'm a full-time student and a full-time worker. Like, you know, you may want to sit in front of somebody and do that, but if you like, look, sis, my stuff is straight. It's a straight return, it's a simple return, go with the cheaper option. Because at this point, you need all the money you can get.
Right. Absolutely. Okay.
My mind's clear.
All mine's clear.
With that being said, no questions this episode. But with that being said, I have an announcement to make. If you haven't caught on yet, yes, I am doing taxes this season. I have partnered with a colleague of mine, Lauren Accounting Services, and we are ready to see you guys.
Folds arms. I'm just joking.
No, if you saw the title of this episode, it said I ain't fold my arms. The folding arms was never a business pose for me.
It's professional. You know, you're professional when you could just. You know what? I got a folded arms picture.
But you went like this.
Oh, I did. Yeah.
You know, but I mean, to each his own. You know, but no. So yes, I will have my contact information in the description box. Yes. Feel free to contact me, and I will have another announcement about mid-tax season. But you know, be on the lookout for that. You know, you can't just drop it out.
I don't even know the announcement, so
yes, you do. I'm gonna tell you off camera.
Oh,
but let me drop it all off there because you already know. I'm not gonna be like, oh yeah, I know about that.
Oh, okay.
But can't just drop it all off there.
Yeah, don't drop it all off there.
But yes, I am doing taxes.
Keep them guessing.
I am doing taxes this season, so come see your girl if you want to. Or if TurboTax is your jam, then that's your jam. Like, you know, I ain't mad.
Do what you do.
Do what you do, baby. So if you have any questions or topics that you'd like for us to talk about, feel free to email us at unapologeticallyuspod@yahoo.com. That is unapologeticallyuspod@yahoo.com. Also follow our Instagram at unapologeticallyuspod on Instagram. And I ain't finished my wine. Then this long pause. You're gonna have to edit out because you ain't saying them when I finish my wine.
But
and the wine we had today was really good. It was it was actually wine for my birthday party. Somebody brought us a pineapple mimosa type of wine. It was really, really good. Well, I guess we can show y'all. Can we? Andre, wine cocktail, pineapple mimosa. It was really, really good. Thanks, V. Loud the wine. You probably gonna see his wine left over from my party. And before we go off, let me tell you something. Real friends bring bottles to their friends' parties and leave them. My bar cart looks a little good, a lot better now.
Not a lot of better.
A lot of better now since my party. So shout out to y'all. But thank you guys for tuning in to today's episode. Be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Rate us on all podcast platforms. If you're listening to us, rate us.
Yes.
And if there's nothing else, we will see you guys in the next episode. Bye, guys.